I dated a rich man for 7 months. It did not end well. In a city where money flows like champagne, and love often comes with a price tag, what happens when the man you are falling for has more zeros in his bank account than reasons to say no? Maybe I was wrong to think I could handle the glitter without getting blinded. Maybe I did something to push him toward his darker side. Or maybe the truth is simpler. Wealth can buy a lot, but it cannot buy equality in a relationship. I want to tell you the whole story, the highs, the lows, the twist that left me questioning everything, so you can decide for yourself. And maybe, just maybe, be a little more aware if you ever find yourself sipping Veuve Clicquot with someone who owns the vineyard. It all started on a crisp autumn evening at a rooftop fundraiser for some obscure art foundation. The kind where the tickets cost more than my monthly rent. But I got in through a friend's +1. I was there in my best thrift find dress, pretending to care about abstract sculptures while nursing a glass of overpriced rose. That is when he appeared. Alexander, hedge fund titan. The kind of man who looks like he stepped out of a Tom Ford ad, tall, broad-shouldered, with a jawline that could cut glass and eyes that held the quiet command of someone used to winning. He was not flashy, no diamond cufflinks or obnoxious Rolex, just a perfectly tailored charcoal suit, a subtle Patek Philippe peeking from his sleeve, and an aura that said, "I own this room but I do not need to prove it." He approached me near the edge of the terrace, where I was staring at the Manhattan skyline like it owed me answers. "You look like the only person here who would rather be debating the meaning of life than bidding on bad art," he said, his voice deep and unhurried, with a hint of an accent I could not place. "European boarding school, maybe." I turned and raised an eyebrow. "And you look like the man who funded half this exhibit just to avoid small talk." He laughed, a real laugh, not the polite networking chuckle. "Guilty. But I would make an exception for you, Alexander." "Claire," I replied, shaking his hand. His grip was firm, warm, the kind that lingers just a second too long. We talked for hours. Not about his net worth or my graphic design freelance work that barely covered my one bedroom in Brooklyn. About books, him quoting Hemingway like an old friend, me arguing that Austen had more bite. About the city, him reminiscing about deals that shaped skylines, me sharing hidden gems like the best falafel truck in the village. By the end of the night, he asked for my number. "No games. No, I will call you. Just, I would like to see you again. Soon." Our first date was dinner at Per Se. He sent a car, a sleek black Tesla, not a limo, because he was not trying to overwhelm. Or so I thought. The food was exquisite, the wine older than me, but what hooked me was him. Masculine in that effortless way, decisive without being domineering, attentive without smothering. He listened when I talked about my latest client project on branding for independent fashion labels, nodding like my words mattered more than the Michelin stars. By the second glass of Bordeaux, I was wondering, is this what it feels like to date someone who has it all together? No fumbling startup bros or musicians crashing on friends' couches. Alexander was a man who knew what he wanted, and that night, it was me. We ended up at his penthouse overlooking Central Park. No pressure, just for a nightcap. The place was stunning, minimalist, with original Warhols on the walls and a terrace that screamed quiet power. Clothes came off slowly, his hands confident, exploring like he had all the time in the world. It was passionate, intense, the kind of connection that leaves you breathless and craving more. He was not rough. He was commanding, in a way that made me feel desired, not dominated. Yet, the next morning he made breakfast, eggs Benedict with caviar. Because why not? And we talked until noon. No awkward what now? Just plans for dinner that week. I left feeling like I had stumbled into a fairy tale. But even then, a tiny voice whispered, "Fairy tales come with dragons." What is his? The first 2 months were a dream. He flew me to Paris for a weekend just because. We strolled the Seine, shopped on Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honor, and he insisted on buying me a Chanel bag. To match your fire. I protested at first. I am independent after all, with my own career keeping me afloat in NYC, but he waved it off. "Let me spoil you. It makes me happy." And it did. The gifts kept coming. A Cartier bracelet after our third date, Louboutins because your legs deserve them. But it was not just the material things. He was thoughtful, remembering my favorite coffee order and surprising me with tickets to a sold-out Broadway show. My friends were split. Mia swooned. He is like Mr. Big but richer. Harper warned. Watch out. Money like that comes with strings. I brushed it off. After all, he never made me feel small. He celebrated my independence, praising my design work, encouraging my freelance hustle. You are building something real, he would say. I admire that. But the first twist came at month 3. We were at a gala, black tie, full of Wall Street wolves and their trophy wives. I was in a gown he had bought me, feeling like Cinderella. Until I saw him across the room, cornered by a stunning redhead in a dress that screamed old flame. They were laughing too intimately, her hand on his arm too long. I approached, and she pulled away with a knowing smile. Claire, right? Alex has told me so much. I am Victoria, his ex. Ex? He had mentioned past relationships, but not that she was still in his orbit. Later, in the limo home, I confronted him. Why did you not tell me she would be there? He sighed, loosening his tie. It is nothing. We ended amicably. She is just a friend now. Friends who touch like that. His eyes darkened. Are you accusing me of something? The argument escalated, my jealousy, his defensiveness. Words flew. Me calling him secretive, him saying I was overreacting. It ended with him storming to his study, slamming the door. I grabbed my coat, ready to leave. The next morning, I woke to a bouquet of roses, hundreds, filling the bedroom, and a velvet box on the pillow. Inside, a diamond necklace that probably cost more than my annual salary. His note. Forgive me. I hate fighting. Let me make it up to you. I stared at it, sparkling in the sunlight. Beautiful. Extravagant. But was it an apology or a transaction? Did he think he could buy my forgiveness? And worse, did it work? I put it on, met him in the kitchen where he was making coffee, looking remorseful. We kissed, made up, and the day melted into another perfect one. But the seed was planted. Why did conflict always end with gifts? Was he sorry, or just efficient at smoothing things over? Month 4 brought more cracks. We were planning a trip to the Maldives, his idea, his private jet. I suggested I pay for my share of the hotel. He laughed. Do not be ridiculous. I have got it. I want to, I insisted. I am not here for your money. His smile faded. And I am not here to keep score. Let me take care of you. It sounded sweet, but there was an edge. A subtle shift where let me started feeling like, I will. Little things. Him suggesting I quit freelancing to focus on us, offering to set me up in his world. You deserve better than scraping by. I like scraping by, I said. It is mine. He rolled his eyes. Stubborn. But that is what I love about you. Love? He had said it first, casually over brunch. I said it back, meaning it. But now love felt tangled with his expectations. The real drama hit at a dinner party with his circle, old money types who eyed me like an exotic pet. One of his friends, drunk on scotch, joked, Alex, you finally found one who is not after your wallet, or is she? Alexander's face hardened. Watch it. But later, in bed, he turned to me. You know I would never let that happen, right? I take care of what is mine. What is mine? I echoed. I am not a possession. He pulled me close. Of course not. But with my life, I have to protect us. Trust me. Trust him. That became the mantra. But as the months ticked on, his protectiveness morphed. He started questioning my late nights out with friends. Who is there? Men? He suggested I move in. Safer. Closer. When I said no, he bought me an apartment in his building anyway. Just in case. I stared at the deed. This is too much. Nothing is too much for you, he said, kissing my forehead. But it felt like control. Like he was weaving a golden net around me, one gift at a time. The twist that shattered everything came on a rainy night in month 6. We were at his place post-dinner when his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, silenced it. I caught a name. Victoria. Her again? It is business, he snapped. Business at midnight? He stood, towering over me. Claire, enough. My world is complicated. You do not understand. Then explain. He did not. Instead, he left the room. I grabbed his phone. Yes, I snooped and saw the texts. Flirty, intimate. Not a full-blown affair, but enough to sting. Miss our nights. Call me when you are free. I confronted him. Tears, yelling. How long? It is nothing, he said. A slip. I ended it. A slip? With your ex? He paced. You have been distant. Questioning everything. I am human, Claire. Human or entitled? The fight peaked. Me calling him out on his double standards. Him accusing me of ingratitude. After everything I have given you? Given me, I shot back. Love is not a transaction. He softened then, pulling out his wallet. Let me fix this. Whatever you want, trip, jewelry, name it. I froze. There it was, the buyout. As if money could erase betrayal. I left that night, storming into the rain, heart pounding. But the next day, a delivery. A first edition Austen novel, wrapped with a note. I was wrong. Come back. I will change. I stared at it. Was he sorry? Or just buying time? As I sat there, phone in hand, debating whether to call him, one question burned brightest. In a relationship where money talks louder than words, can love ever have the last say? And I did not know if I was walking away from a monster or the man I still loved. I stared at the first edition Austen novel on my coffee table. The note still tucked inside like a quiet threat wrapped in velvet. I was wrong. Come back. I will change. The words mocked me. Change? Or just a new strategy to keep me in orbit? I had not answered his calls. I had not texted back. Instead, I had spent the last 48 hours in my tiny Brooklyn apartment. The one I still paid rent for with my own money. Letting the silence speak louder than any diamond necklace ever could. The city outside my window kept moving. People rushing to meetings, lovers holding hands in the cold, delivery bikes weaving through traffic. Life did not pause because my heart felt like it had been bought and returned in the same transaction. I kept replaying the fight. The way his voice dropped when he said, "After everything I have given you." As if generosity canceled betrayal. As if the price tag on the gifts made the text with Victoria disappear. I needed perspective. I needed voices that were not his. So I texted Mia and Harper, and surprisingly I also texted Noah, the one guy friend who always cut through the noise with brutal honesty. We met at our usual spot in Williamsburg, a cozy wine bar with exposed brick and candles that flickered like they knew secrets. Mia arrived first, hugging me so tight I almost spilled my glass of Pinot Noir. Claire, you look like you have not slept since the Renaissance. What happened? Harper slid in next, already ordering a second bottle. Let me guess. He pulled the wallet card again. Noah showed up last, coat still on, looking like he had just come from a late shift at the architecture firm. I am here for moral support and bad advice. Spill. I told them everything. The snooping, the texts, the fight. The necklace he tried to buy my forgiveness with. The Austen book that arrived like a bribe. When I finished, the table was silent except for the soft clink of glasses. Mia leaned forward, eyes wide. He cheated. Or at least emotionally cheated. And his response was to send you flowers and a book? That is not an apology. That is damage control. Harper nodded slowly. It is classic. Rich men think they can fix anything with money. The problem is, when the problem is trust, no amount of Cartier fixes it. You are not a client he can pay off, Claire. You are a person. Noah took a long sip of his wine, then set the glass down. Look, I am not saying all rich guys are like this, but power imbalance is real. He is used to getting what he wants. When you do not fall in line, he panics. The gifts, the apartment, the private jet, it's all control dressed as generosity. And the moment you push back, he flips to guilt-tripping you with what he has given. That is not love. That is ownership. I stared at my glass, watching the wine catch the candlelight. I keep thinking, maybe I overreacted. Maybe it was just a slip. Maybe I am the one who is too independent, too stubborn to accept help. Mia reached across the table. No, you are the one who still has boundaries. He crossed them. The question is not whether you overreacted. The question is whether you are willing to live in a relationship where every fight ends with a price tag. Harper added quietly, and what happens when the next slip is bigger? Or when he decides you are too much trouble and starts looking for someone easier to control? Noah leaned back. You deserve someone who fights for you with words, not wallets. Someone who sees your independence as a strength, not a problem to solve. We sat there for hours, the conversation circling the same painful truths. By the time we left, the wine bottle was empty, and my head was clear, even if my heart still ached. Back in my apartment, alone for the first time in days, I sat on the floor with my back against the couch. No music, no phone. Just me in the quiet. The silence felt loud, almost accusing. I could not help but wonder, why do we romanticize men with power? Is it the security? The fantasy of being chosen by someone who could have anyone? Or is it simpler? We tell ourselves that if a man like Alexander wants us, it means we are worth something. But what if the worth he assigns comes with conditions? What if his love is conditional on my shrinking, on me accepting that his world is the only one that matters? I thought about the other men I had dated. The broke musicians who never remembered my birthday. The startup guys who disappeared after one night. The nice ones who were safe but boring. None of them had ever made me feel this alive. Or this trapped. Is the problem the money? Or is it the man who believes money gives him the right to rewrite the rules? I thought about Victoria. The way she looked at him, like she knew a version of him I never would. Was she the one who understood his world? Or was she just another woman who learned the hard way that his affection comes with a leash? I walked to the window and looked out at the city. Lights on in 1,000 apartments. People fighting, laughing, making love, breaking up. Normal life, messy life. My life, before Alexander turned it into something gilded and fragile. Do I miss him? Yes, desperately. The way he looked at me like I was the only thing worth his attention. The way he kissed me like he had invented kissing. But do I miss the version of him that existed before the cracks showed? Or do I miss the fantasy I built around him? The questions kept coming, relentless. What if I go back? What if I accept the gifts, the trips, the protection? Would I wake up one day and realize I had traded my voice for a beautiful cage? Would I look in the mirror and not recognize the woman staring back? Or what if I walk away for good? Would I spend the rest of my life wondering if I gave up on the one man who truly saw me? Or would I finally breathe again, knowing I chose myself over someone else's version of love? I picked up the Austen novel. Opened it to the title page. His handwriting stared back at me. I was wrong. Come back. I will change. I closed the book. Set it on the shelf, spine facing out like a warning. Then I sat back down, pulled my knees to my chest, and let the tears come. Not because I had decided, but because I knew that whatever choice I made next would change everything. And the fairy tale cracked wide open. I picked up my phone from the coffee table, the screen lighting up with missed calls from Alexander. 7 in the last hour. No voicemails. Just the persistent glow of his name, like he expected me to answer on command. I silenced it and set it face down, letting the quiet wrap around me again. The tears had dried, leaving that hollow ache in my chest, the kind that comes from knowing a chapter is ending, even if you are the one turning the page. I could not help but wonder, why do so many women choose this life? The easy way, the golden path where love is optional, but luxury is guaranteed. I thought about the girls I knew from the edges of his world, the ones at the galas with their perfect smiles. And designer dresses, arms linked with men twice their age or 3 times their net worth. They did not love their partners, not really. They loved the private islands, the endless credit lines, the freedom from 9 to 5 drudgery. No more scraping by on freelance gigs, no more budgeting for rent. Just wake up in silk sheets, sip coffee from a balcony overlooking the ocean, and let the world spin on someone else's dime. Is that happiness? Or just a pretty distraction from the emptiness? In a materialistic world like ours, where success is measured in square footage and carats, maybe it is the smart choice. Forget about building a career. about the satisfaction of earning your own way. Trade it for security. No fear of bills piling up, no anxiety about the next client drying up. Just endless spa days, first-class flights, and the quiet power of never having to say, I cannot afford it. I imagined it for myself. Me, in one of his mansions, lounging by the pool while he worked his deals. Shopping on Fifth Avenue without glancing at price tags. Traveling to places I had only pinned on vision boards. No more late nights at my laptop, tweaking designs until my eyes blurred. Just luxury. Pure and simple. A life where money solved everything and love was a bonus, not a requirement. But is that me? Could I live like that? Pretending the affection was real when it felt like a transaction? Would the thrill of the new Birkin fade, leaving me staring at a closet full of things that meant nothing? I looked around my apartment. The mismatched furniture I had thrifted. The prints on the walls from local artists I supported. This was mine. Earned, imperfect, but authentic. Alexander's gifts, the necklace, the bag, the shoes, they were beautiful, but they were not for me. They were for the version of me he wanted, the one who fit into his world like another acquisition. I am not the show-off type, parading brands like badges. I prefer frugal luxury, a good vintage find over a flashy logo, experiences over excess. His exes loved it, I bet. Victoria probably thrived on the diamonds, the trips, the status. That is why he thought it would work on me. He had a magic formula. Spend big, forgive bigger, control quietly. But I am different. My tastes run to quiet cafes and indie films, not yacht parties and red carpets. My life goals are about creating, about building something lasting with my own hands, not riding someone else's wave. That is why his money could not buy me. It never touched the part of me that mattered. The phone buzzed again. Not Alexander this time. Mia, I answered, curling up on the couch. Claire? You okay? You sound wrecked. I sighed. I am processing. The Austin book arrived. He wants me back. Mia paused. Of course he does. You are the one who challenged him. But do you want him back? That is the question. Part of me misses the good times, the way he made me feel special. But the other part sees the cage closing. Listen, she said, her voice firm. You are not like those trophy girls. You have a career, a life. Do not let him dim that. Remember why you left. The control, the buyouts. That is not love. We talked for an hour, her words a lifeline in the dark. By the end, I felt steadier, but the doubt lingered. The next day, I agreed to meet him. Neutral ground, a quiet cafe in Soho, the kind with mismatched chairs and strong espresso. No penthouses, no limos. Just two people trying to salvage something from the wreckage. He was there when I arrived, looking uncharacteristically rumpled in a cashmere sweater and jeans, no suit armor today. His eyes lit up when he saw me. But there was a wariness too, like he knew this could go either way. Claire, he said, standing to hug me. I let him but pulled back quickly. We sat, ordered coffees. The silence stretched until he broke it. I messed up. Badly. Victoria was a mistake. Old habits. But I ended it. For good. I nodded slowly. It is not just her. It is everything. The gifts after every fight. The apartment I did not ask for. The way you talk about taking care of me, like I cannot take care of myself. He leaned forward, hands clasped. I know. I have been thinking about that. A lot. You are different from the others. My exes, they loved the luxury. The jewelry, the trips. It was their language. But you see through it. That is what drew me to you. Your independence. Your fire. I searched his face. Then why try to buy me? Why the control? He exhaled. Because I am scared. Scared of losing you. In my world, money fixes things. It always has. But with you, it does not work. And that terrifies me. I do not know how to love without it. The admission hit hard. Unexpected. For the first time, he seemed vulnerable, not commanding. Not the titan, just a man who had built walls of wealth to hide behind. I want to change, he continued. For real this time. No more gifts to fix fights. No more assuming I know best. Let me prove it. Give me another chance. I felt the pull. The old chemistry flickering back. But then the twist came. His phone rang. He glanced at it. Silenced it. Victoria again. My stomach dropped. Answer it. He hesitated. It is not important. Answer it, I repeated, voice steady. He did. Put it on speaker. Her voice filled the cafe. Alex, we need to talk. About last night. I thought you ended it with her. The world tilted. Last night, after the fight, after the apology? He hung up quickly, face pale. Claire, it is not what you think. She is lying. Trying to stir trouble. But the damage was done. The trust, already fractured, shattered completely. I stood. You said you ended it. But it never really ended, did it? You just paused it when it suited you. Claire, please. No, I am done. Done with the lies, the control, the idea that your money makes you above it all. I walked out, heart pounding but head high, no looking back. Back home, I packed up the gifts. The necklace, the bag, the shoes. Boxed them with a note. Keep your magic. I prefer real. I dropped them at his building, then blocked his number. For good? The city felt bigger that night, scarier but mine again. No more golden nets. Just me, my work, and my life. So, in a world that worships wealth, is choosing yourself the ultimate luxury? And now, the chapter closed. I never looked back. The gifts stayed donated, the apartment keys returned, and the number blocked. My life returned to its familiar rhythm. Late nights designing, coffee runs with friends, quiet victories in my own small world. It was not always easy. Some days the silence felt too loud, the memories too sharp. But every time I caught myself missing the luxury, I remembered the cost. My voice, my freedom. The simple right to be loved for who I was, not for who I could be bought into becoming. If this story resonated with you, if you have ever walked away from something glittering because it did not feel right, or if you have ever stayed and learned the hard way, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Your stories matter. They remind us we are not alone in navigating these complicated choices. And if you would like to join me for more honest reflections on love, independence, and everything in between, consider subscribing. No pressure, just a quiet invitation to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching. Until next time.